those who I have not met, my name is Taylor Venegas. I'm the chief of the Vehicular Crimes Unit here at the District Attorney's Office, and I want to thank you all for being here with us as we recognize and celebrate those in law enforcement and the community who have made particular contributions to the area of impaired driving prevention and enforcement. So thank you for that. For some opening remarks, I'm going to turn it over to our elected District Attorney, Brent Lee.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Taylor, for setting this up. Welcome to the annual sporadic yearly awards. I say sporadic because during COVID, we didn't have the opportunity to extend our gratitude and to acknowledge the officers that are helping to keep Montgomery County safe. But as Taylor said, hey, as long as I've been here, we've been holding them yearly, so Taylor gets credit for 3 of 3. So thank you all for being here. The whole reason that we're here is to keep the community safe. Everybody stays on the mission. Once you stay on the mission, then everything else falls in line. And the mission was always to keep Montgomery County safe. When I took office, one of the things, Montgomery County was known as the deadliest roadways in the state of Texas. And secondly, Montgomery County was known as the deadliest lakes within Montgomery County. And I started with the proposition that if you could predict it, then perhaps you could prevent it. And part of it was, the prediction was, all right, where are the accidents occurring? When are they occurring? What type of drivers are there? And so when you start sorting where did the accidents occur, that's when we started applying our resources and saying, hey, not only that, we're going to have that advanced model of law enforcement. No one likes the police officer who stands behind a billboard and waits for a car to drive by. What do we know about traffic accidents? The number one factor in a fatality is speed. The best prevention is deterrence and visibility of an officer, which is why we segued from that into no refusal. So when we get into our no refusal weekends and the no refusal participation, it's open, it's obvious, and it's hostile, which is exactly like I like to be as a prosecutor. I tell you what's going to happen, I tell you when it's going to happen, and then I make it happen. That's what good law enforcement looks like in Montgomery County. So we don't hide behind bridges, we don't hide behind billboards. In Montgomery County, we tell you when the no refusal weekends are going to be. We tell you where they're going to be. They're on websites, they're on the newspaper, and so by that point, if you're arrested for DWI, it's really a bifurcated charge. It's the DWI, but it's also, you're about as dumb as can be because I told you not to be here. Now the reason we told them not to be here is because those were the choke points. That was where the accidents were occurring. So we weren't applying our resources on some lonely country road. We're applying the resources where the residents of Montgomery County are getting up every day to go to work, to go to church, and they should have the peace to drive within this community and not to suffer one of the most violent and horrific types of accidents that are out there. Anybody who's done these types of crimes knows, hey look, shootings are bad. Bullets do what they're supposed to do, don't they, Chief, right? They let blood out and they let air in. But a traffic accident involving an assault or a fatality, it's horrible. They're horrible. You don't get anything more destructive than a traffic accident and what it does to a person's body and how it kills an entire lineage of a family. The mom, the dad, the kids, those types of deals. So that's the why, and the why has always stayed the number one focus, but the who is y'all. Now the faces have changed. When I started here, I had one chin and Constable Hayden had hair. That's how long that we have been at it. The hair that I had is now turned white. So I've grown old in service of our community, and the faces have changed, and I look around and I see the youth out here, and it makes me more excited than anything because I know that for the next decade and a half, the next 2 decades, that Montgomery County is going to be in safe hands. But it requires leadership, and there are several leaders in this community that from the very beginning committed to this type of partnership. One of them is Constable Rowdy Hayden. Constable Hayden, as always, from day one, thank you for being here. Thank you for what y'all do over in East Montgomery County. So thank you for being here. We've got another one of our new community partners, Constable David Eason, Precinct 2. David, I've got nothing but great hopes for you. I think that Precinct 2 is going to make an impact in law enforcement this year and years to come under your leadership. Happy to have you here. And my friend, the one and only Wally Weehot, Chief of Splendora PD. Wally, y'all are putting Splendora on a map in a good way. And not just for your athletics, but for your contribution to all of Montgomery County. So thank you for being here. Kyle Montgomery, Magnolia PD. Man, Kyle is an excellent resource. What Magnolia is doing over there, between them, Chris Jones, on that west side of Montgomery County, I hope that y'all are feeling the same things we're feeling. This is a professionally growing and aggressively enforcing law enforcement organization. We also have Chief Libby from Oak Ridge. Chief Libby and I have known each other for years. I don't know, where's Chief Libby? Where is he? Chief, thank you for being here. Everybody knows that Oak Ridge is on that corridor down there. We need our community partners. Let me see, I think I've mentioned all the electeds that are here. I'm going to turn it back over to Taylor. I know I've got representatives of probably the best regional Parks and Wildlife division in the state of Texas. We work quite a bit. We've just recently, man, Lieutenant Fitzpatrick wore us out on chronic wasting disease. But by gosh, we have put chronic wasting disease on the front page of the Parks and Wildlife magazine, so thank you for all the work. Thank y'all for the work that Parks and Wildlife did in the very beginning. When we started combating the most deadly lakes in Montgomery County, we were doing it through Parks and Wildlife. When boating while intoxicated was something that people didn't pay attention to, Parks and Wildlife were actively out there enforcing it, trying to keep our kids safe. We all live here. But we know the lakes were getting ravaged by the people coming in from Houston. So Parks and Wildlife, an original partner in the effort to suppress, detect, and prosecute DWIs in Montgomery County. So thank y'all for almost a 2-decade partnership here with the District Attorney's Office. So I'm going to turn it over to Taylor. Taylor's going to specifically mention several people. Catherine, I'm glad you're here. I hardly ever see you during the day anymore. Catherine's, if y'all ever call in DA intake between about 3 to 11, and there's a friendly voice on the other end that knows what she's talking about, is Catherine Weehawk. So no relation to Wally, but I'm sure he would claim you if he knew you better. So anyway, I'm turning it back over to Taylor Benegas.
Thank you, Brett. And thank you also, he left one agency head for me because he knows how fond I am personally of him, Chief John Buckholt of the Conroe Police Department. Buck, or rather Chief Buckholt, came to Conroe PD I guess it's this Monday, right? It was day one. He came there from here, from the Montgomery County DA's office. We're sad to have lost him, but we're honored to have him just a short distance away, and I know he's going to be great for us. Okay, with that, we're going to get into the awards here in just a minute. But before we get there, there's some thanks that I want to give and a story that I want to tell you. Some thanks and a story. First, the thanks I want to give are to some folks from our office, from the Vehicular Crimes team. It's a team of prosecutors here at the office who don't get paid extra, who don't get overtime, who don't get extra accolades, but they take on an additional role on top of their normal job duties to be a part of the Vehicular Crimes call-out team. Some of them are here with us today, and they do some dedicated and important work. So they might be a felony prosecutor in trial court. They might be in a special division handling child abuse. But on top of that, they are signing up to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, jump in the car, drive out to the middle of wherever in Montgomery County someone has just lost their life, and be there on a murder scene in the middle of the road. And to help make sure that that investigation is handled in the way that it needs to be, to do whatever we can do at the District Attorney's Office to help enhance that investigation, to help make sure that whatever justice needs to be served is going to be served. So I thank you all for doing that. Secondly is our no refusal team. Brett mentioned our no refusal program. Every single weekend in Montgomery County is a no refusal weekend, and that's because we have folks here at the DA's office, as well as some independent contractor blood drawers who come and work with us 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. every single Friday, every single Saturday, and important holidays to make sure that when law enforcement needs to get a blood draw done, it can get done, and it can get done expeditiously. And so thank you for that. In addition to the no refusal team, I have to give a shout out and thanks to one particular person, the newest member of our Vehicular Crimes and No Refusal team, Mr. Carson Reed. Carson, can you stand up for me for a sec? Carson is a paralegal at our office. He is the brand new member to our team. He is revolutionizing what we can do and enhancing what we do. And so, Carson, I want to thank you for everything you've done to set this up and to make sure that I don't drop the ball or mess up too much. So thank you, Carson. Okay, and the last thank you that I have is to Montgomery County law enforcement in general. If some of you will recall that a few years ago, we kind of had an alarm bell going on in the county. We had very few drug recognition experts. And DREs are those officers who go and get additional training and become specialized to be able to do something that no one else can do. They are a linchpin in the ability to actually investigate and prosecute drug DWI cases. Every officer in Texas gets certified to investigate and to make arrests in the area of alcohol DWIs, but drug DWIs are a special animal. And a few years ago, we had very, very few DREs in the county. That alarm bell got rung, and Montgomery County law enforcement heard that call, and they responded to it by sending many officers to get certified. Just this last year, 2024, we had, I believe it was 8 DREs get certified from 7 different agencies. And that is a representation of the work that you all are doing out there and the focus that Montgomery County is putting on this issue. So thank you for that. Now, the story that I mentioned, and it dovetails right off of the topic of DREs. I want to turn your attention to September 20th of 2015, and this family you see up on the board. The Settlemeyer family, Roland, Melinda, Harley, and Sophie. It was a warm September day in Conroe, out on West 105 towards Montgomery. And this beautiful family right here was headed to church. But they never made it. And they never made it because a man named Ronald Cooper was driving high on prescription pills and took out that entire beautiful family. And they died right there on Highway 105. And if you saw in the ante room right here, there was some signs set up, some photos in honor of this family right here. And Ronald Cooper got the justice that he deserved with a maximum sentence of 80 years in prison. That's where he is, and that's where he's going to stay. But the memory of this family right here, the Settlemeyers, is what we all need to remember about why we do what we do, why we hold these awards, why we come do this. Because this isn't just about patting each other on the backs, it's about remembering that there are real lives out there that the work you do touches every single day. And sometimes it's the people that are driving drunk, right? Sometimes it's the people who are driving while intoxicated. You are saving their lives when you take them to jail. And so with that, I hope you'll remember this family as we move on now into the more happy part of this, the actual awards. So with that, we're going to talk about a few different categories. As we move through these, District Attorney Ligon is going to be over here on this side. As I call your names, if you'll come up, and Mr. Ligon will hand you some awards and recognition paperwork. So, the categories this year are DWI Officer of the Year, DWI Agency of the Year, the Vehicular Crimes Investigator of the Year, the Public Service Award, and new for this year, an Exemplary DWI Officer Commendation. And we're going to start there, Exemplary DWI Officers. This category is new. In past years, we had a DWI Officer of the Year and some honorable mentions of other folks who were also deserving but did not receive that award. And what we thought about was, you know what, in Montgomery County, we are so blessed to have so many officers and agencies doing great work that we need to do something more. And that something more was to identify these exemplary officers that come from a variety of agencies, a variety of jurisdictions, but are doing great work where they are to impact this issue. This commendation recognizes officers who lead the fight against impaired driving by enhancing their skills of specialized training, leading their agencies in DWI enforcement, or playing key roles in DWI initiatives. And so for the 6 recipients of this commendation, I'm going to call you up one at a time. If you come up, Mr. Ligon, we'll take some photos with you, and then if you stay up here as I call up the rest of the recipients. The first recipient this year is Officer Stephen Carney of the Conroe Police Department. Thank you, sir. Our next recipient is Officer Zachary Castanon of the Oak Ridge North Police Department. Corporal Ronnie Colbert of the Splendora Police Department. Deputy Dustin Gaona of the Precinct 2 Constable's Office. Officer Justin Habhab of the Magnolia Police Department. And last but absolutely not least is Deputy Saul Mendez of the Precinct 4 Constable's Office. Folks, these officers you see up here right now are an elite group, and they represent an even bigger elite group of law enforcement in Montgomery County and throughout the state of Texas. They come from a variety of agencies, a variety of experience levels, and they've made their own contributions in different ways to enhance what we're doing in this county to fight impaired driving on our roadways and make the roadways safer for all of us. Each of them deserves our thanks, and you have my thanks, gentlemen. Thank you. Received a commendation letter from Mr. Ligon, which we hope will go in their personnel files and be something that they can hold on to and remember in the years to come. All right, next, we're going to move on to DWI Officer of the Year. This award goes to an officer who admirably performs above and beyond the call of duty to protect the public from intoxicated drivers. Before I announce the winner of this award, he's going to be a familiar face. He couldn't leave well enough alone, and so he's back. He really didn't leave us much of a choice. And this isn't a participation trophy. This isn't. We don't just look around and see who's deserving. We gave it to that guy last year. Can't give it to him. Nope. In Montgomery County, you earn what you get. And so this year, the winner of this award is Deputy Joseph O'Neill of the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. Deputy O'Neill here, congratulations, sir. Deputy O'Neill won this award last year. And so let me tell you a little bit of history so you understand how we got here. Deputy O'Neill has been a peace officer here in Montgomery County for a number of years. A couple of years ago, back in 2022, at these very awards, Deputy O'Neill was an honorable mention for this award. That year he had 88 DWI arrests and was recognized for that with that honorable mention for this award. He wasn't satisfied, and so the next year he came, and in 2023, he nearly doubled that with 164 arrests. Now, numbers aren't everything. They aren't, and trust me, I've seen plenty of DWIs that aren't worth the paper that they're written on, but Deputy O'Neill does good work. And so he won the award. He went to DRE school, he got certified as a DRE, he's doing good work there. So he comes here, he gets the award, and he goes back home, and again, apparently was not satisfied. So in 2024, he had 181 DWI arrests filed with our office, and again, numbers are not everything. Deputy O'Neill has a reputation in this office for doing good work, good DWIs. He has testified more than anybody else on DWI cases in recent years, and he does good work. And I give him a hard time, and he knows that, but he does good work, and sir, I congratulate you on this award. All right, we're going to move to DWI Agency of the Year. Now, this award goes to a law enforcement agency that makes the prevention and enforcement of impaired driving an agency-wide priority. I'm honored that we have Chief Wehat here from Splendora PD. They won it last year, and they won it by punching above their weight class, by doing a lot of great work in specialized ways for a department of their size and a city of their size. And so congratulations again on that, Chief Wehat. But this year, we don't have to go very far from Splendora. The winner of this award is the Precinct 4 Constable's Office. And here receiving the award on behalf of the Precinct 4 Constable's Office is Constable Kenneth Ratty Hayden. And we see Deputy Saul Mendez again. Deputy Mendez played a critical role in Precinct 4 receiving this award. Precinct 4, they serve East Montgomery County with distinction. They do great work. And they won this award this year because in 2024, they didn't have the most DWIs of any agency. They were up there. But again, it's not just about numbers. They had 334 DWI cases filed with our office. That's a big deal. But what is even more impressive is not how many they had, it's how it was distributed. This office right here had more than at least 9 deputies with more than a dozen DWIs. And several of them had over 30, including Deputy Mendez. And what that tells us is that this is an agency who has prioritized what they are doing. It matters from the top down that they're going to get out there on the roads and they're going to fight this issue. And they're doing it every day, and that's why they are the 2024 Agency of the Year. Congratulations.
Just briefly, if I could, Constable Hayden, thank you for almost 2 decades of aggressive enforcement in Montgomery County. And for years, when you would talk about Precinct 4, we'd tell people, if you take all the other constables' agencies and you combine them, and you double the amount of arrests that they would make in comparison to Precinct 4, you could double them, and then Constable Hayden still had twice as many as all of them combined. That's how much work that Precinct 4 had been doing. Now, the good thing is Precinct 5 is catching up. Now, it doesn't mean that Constable 4 is not doing the work. 5 is on the map now. 3 is on the map. Constable Eason, surge to you, right? You have big shoes to fill, and you have some good peers within the Montgomery County, some people to look up to. So, Constable Hayden, incredible job over there for almost two decades now. Thank you for the partnership.
Thank you. With that, we're going to move on now to Investigator of the Year, Vehicular Crimes Investigator of the Year. This award goes to an investigator who performs exceptionally in major vehicular crimes cases involving serious bodily injury or death. This year, we have a particular case I'm going to tell you a little bit about, and not one winner, but actually 2 winners of this award who did exceptional work that made sure that the right thing happened, that justice was served. And the winners this year are Game Wardens Brandon Minkowski and Patricia Van Noy of the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. Now these 2 game wardens right here, Brandon Minkowski and Patricia Van Noy, they received this award because of a particular case. There was a major fatality boat crash, many of you probably recall it, on Lake Conroe back in 2021, July 10th of 2021. And we have many fatalities, unfortunately. It's all throughout the state, and they don't all register in our memories, but having a major fatality boat crash on Lake Conroe, like this one, stands out. On that night, a man by the name of Robert Rice, picked up some gentlemen who he met. He didn't know them, he wasn't friends with them, but he met them at a bar on the water, and they were in town for a competition. They were in town for a niece, a daughter, and they were just hanging out at a hotel bar. And Mr. Rice decided that he had to show off. He had a big fancy boat, and it was his whole life apparently. He decided to show off. He talked these guys into coming on his boat with him. And he decided that it would be smart in the middle of the night in the dark to go over 40 miles an hour across Lake Conroe and smash into the Walden Golf Course. It took the life of 1 man and seriously injured 2 others. And one of them had to float around the water for, I believe it was over 45 minutes or an hour, until he realized that he had an Apple Watch on. And if it hadn't been for that, we don't know how long they would have sat there. because it's dark, it's the lake. No one knew that they were there. And that 911 call is heartbreaking. But what happened next is that the game wardens, Precinct 1 Constable's Office, firefighter departments showed up and saved the lives of 2 of those individuals who were hurt by Mr. Rice. Ultimately, after several years of court settings, the case went, and Mr. Rice was sentenced to 12 years in prison for intoxication manslaughter. And without the great work of Minkowski and Vinoy, justice could have escaped on that one. Without Patricia Vinoy's crash reconstruction, without Brandon Minkowski's diligent effort to follow and track down every lead, justice may have escaped, but it didn't. And we're honored not just to have a great game warden in our county, Game Warden Game Warden Minkowski, but we were honored by someone from out of county. Game Warden Vinoy is not one of our game wardens here in Montgomery County, but that department does great work, and they have a specialized unit that focuses on incidents just like this, so that they can be ready to go wherever they're needed in the state to make a difference, and that's exactly what happened. And Game Warden Vinoy came in and made a major difference in that case. It finally resolved in 2024, and that's why this year they are the recipients of the Investigators of the Year. Congratulations. All right. Now last, but my favorite award, the Public Service Award. The Public Service Award is my favorite award because it has nothing to do with duty. It has nothing to do with just doing your job. These recipients, they don't just do their job either. But they also have a duty to go out there and enforce the law. They have a duty to go out there and make sure that justice is served. But this award, the Public Service Award, goes to someone from the community, an individual, or an organization who made a decision. They didn't have to get involved, but they made a decision to get involved in this battle and to make a difference in our community. This award goes to a non-law enforcement individual or organization that makes a substantial contribution to impaired driving prevention or enforcement efforts. Last year, we gave this award to Milstead Automotive. They received the award for being a long-running, many-year partner with the District Attorney's Office and law enforcement here in the county to make sure that we could investigate and prosecute vehicular crimes cases in an efficient way and an effective way. This year, the award goes to an individual person who has made a big difference, and a real difference, in the lives of young people. The award this year goes to Susan Martin of the Woodlands Township. So Susan, or Sue, as I know she prefers to be called, is a program coordinator for the Woodlands Township. She wears many different hats, but one thing that she did last year, and is an ongoing thing, but something that I learned about last year and got involved with, is that Sue went out of her way to make sure that she could set up speaker presentations, public safety days, different kinds of events that were targeted at youth in the Woodlands and in Montgomery County. And that's the kind of work that makes a difference, not just because someone makes a better decision, but because we're getting to young people early in their life, people that are about to start driving, people that are about to start being of the age to be drinking and engaging in that dangerous type of behavior. And Sue is getting out there, getting presenters, law enforcement, different folks to go and speak to these young folks so that they can make better decisions, not just in the short term, but the rest of their life. She also assisted our office in setting up a summer safety press conference last year, and she served an important role in that, getting us a venue, getting us partners to work with to make it happen and set it up. And she wasn't in front of the cameras, she wasn't there, she didn't receive any accolades, but she receives our thanks today for that and for all the other great work that she does. It is not an exaggeration to say that Susan Martin has saved lives. She saves lives today, and the work that she has done is going to save lives into the future. And so thank you for that. All right, folks. With that, I want to close with one call to action. We called you to enhance the number, improve the number of DREs we have in this county. But I have a different call to action now, and it's for us to keep doing what we're doing at a higher level. If there is something that your department needs, Mr. Ligon and myself are here. We're going to do what we can to enhance what you are doing. If we need to open up the wallet, Mr. Ligon has told me that I can open that wallet up. This is a call. If you need something, if there's something that we can do to help with training, to help with resources, scholarships, equipment, something, let us know. We're here, and we're going to help you if we can. And so we're putting that call out to you. I thank you all for being here today, and I look forward to those calls to start rolling in for money.
Real briefly, if you don't know how to ask for money, ask Chief Lehot. Chief Lehot knows how to ask for money. He does it well. He waits until there's a forfeiture, and right when the forfeiture clears, I'll usually get a phone call from him. Hey, I think we need a drone. So congratulations to you, Chief, for probably getting the most money within the last year from Montgomery County. But guys, it's a new day. I wanted to touch briefly on John, because you're sitting here, Chief Buckholz. I guess the conversation is so normal and has been for so many years. I failed to recognize part of the new dawn. Part of the new dawn is the fact that I've got a police chief with Conroe Police Department that I know is personally committed. I know that walks the walk that he's supposed to walk, and he is the man that he says behind the scenes that the public sees. But we also have a new community partner, Sheriff Wesley Doolittle. Sheriff Doolittle has leaned into his role as a communicator. Sheriff Doolittle has promised cooperation. Sheriff Doolittle has promised communication, and he has been a man of his word. I can tell you behind the scenes, and that's part of this award that I like the best. This is not the Grammys, not the Emmys. We're not doing it for the general public. This is a peer award. It's a peer award. You got 3 or 4 friends here, and that's it. The Sheriff's Department, you're surrounded by a couple of supervisors, and that's it. You're not doing it for the general public. But the general public deserves your best, but I recognize the best. So a peer award means more, at least in my opinion, because, hey, we're all professionals. This is what we do. And we choose to do it at a high level. And when you recognize excellence, and you see excellence, you should award and reward excellence. That's what this award is about. And it is a new day. 2 weeks ago, I had a conversation with Sheriff Doolittle. He came over and talked about some of the jail crowding. I said, well, I got the new chief here too. For the first time in 17 years, I've been the elected DA for the first time. The sheriff and the chief of police have met publicly, and I've been in places where the sheriff and the chief of police will say hello, they'll go their separate ways, and literally within 2 minutes we'll start talking bad about each other. Now that's the truth. That's the truth. And in this meeting, those 2 people, without TV, without accolades, without anything, those people sat in my office for 3 hours to talk about the future of Montgomery County, to talk about communication. Not just to say it's going to be a different day, but to prove it was going to be a different day. 3 days later, on a Saturday, there is a protest in Conroe. And it was a protest over illegal immigration. And up to a certain point, it was going to be a peaceful protest. We all applaud peaceful protests. But things start getting out of hand. I'm getting reports all throughout the day. Chief Buckholz and I are in constant communication throughout the day. And I get a phone call from the sheriff. And he says, hey, stand on the line. I'm going to patch you in with the chief of police. I was like, you don't patch me in. I patch y'all in. What you talking about? The sheriff calls me because he wants to have a 3-way with he and I. And then in the same time, my phone is being blown up by Constable Hayden saying I have an SRG that's on standby. What do y'all need? I said, well, I will send that to both of them. So within about 20 minutes, we start cutting up how are we going to respond to this protest? How are we going to respond to the officers? We hear an officer hit with a bottle. I don't know if it's a glass bottle. I don't know if it's injuries. I don't know. But within 20 minutes, Sheriff Doolittle says, I've got 2 deputies coming from each area of the county. We're going to put a foot on this, and we're going to stop this, and we're going to do it peacefully and quietly. Now, since that time, the chief of police, the constables, the district attorney have been in constant communication, and you don't see it, but you deserve it. That's what Montgomery County has deserved all along. And it's the first time in 17 years where I've actively seen agency heads that are saying they're not only going to cooperate and communicate, but they're doing it by lifting up every other agency in the community. That is good law enforcement. Chief Buckholz, thank you. Please extend my thanks to Wesley. He has been a man of his word from the very beginning. He said we're going to lean forward, we're going to work with every single agency. is trickling down to your people. And I know it's trickling down to yours, Chief. So thank y'all and have a good day. God bless and stay safe.
Also, can we eat some cake?